I took a picture of Jesus. You heard right. I have traveled all over the world. I've been to 30 countries. A large portion of those countries, 16 of them, were doing USO shows where I took my comedy show, Hack and Slash, all over the world, including all the way out to the front lines of Iraq and Afghanistan on 6 USO tours. And while I was on one of those tours, actually it was, I believe, my first tour, we went to Norway. And when I was in Norway, I had with me a little tiny digital camera, and I loved that camera. It was a great camera. And I was totally taking just tons and tons of photographs everywhere I went. And I walked over to this beautiful old church, and old medieval church, whatever. And I stood out there, and I'm looking at it, and this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful church. And there was this beautiful door on the side that was, thick wood and ironwork. It was beautiful. And I wanted to get a photograph of it. It was pretty dark outside, but there was some interesting lights that were like not real bright, but sort of a orangey glow to it, and it was a really cool looking image. So I thought, let's snap a picture of that doorway. And I snapped a picture of the doorway. And when I snapped a picture of the doorway, something showed up. And I'm going to move over so you guys can see this. This is what showed up in the picture. It only showed up in one of the pictures. It's an interesting picture. So I, of course, taking pictures out of the scene, I didn't look at the pictures there. I got back to my hotel room, and I opened it up, and I saw this picture. And when I saw this picture, it took my breath away, because the more I looked at that picture, the more I started seeing a face, specifically half of a face. I could see the eye, I could see the nose, I could see the nostril, I could see his mustache, I could see his beard, I could see his hair. And the more I looked at this picture, the more I realized, wow, that's pretty amazing. So I grabbed my camera, I went back out to the church, and I took as many more pictures as I possibly could. Digital cameras are wonderful that way. You can take hundreds of them. And didn't show up in any other pictures. I even tried to breathe in front of the lens, and it didn't show up. Just didn't show up anywhere else. So I came home looking at it going, wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. And then after I got home, back to the States, I started playing around in Photoshop, and I copied the half of the picture that I could see the face in, and I flipped it, and I created this image. And just to see how it would turn out. And I was like, wow, it completes the face perfectly. It's like, that's amazing. And the more I started looking at this picture, I started realizing that it looks a lot like the Shroud of Turin. And as I looked at the picture, I said, okay, so I found an image of the Shroud of Turin, and I copied half of the face of the Shroud of Turin, and I dropped it on the photograph. And this is what showed up. If you look at this picture closely, you'll notice the nostrils are the same. The mustache completes itself. The beard completes itself. The hairline completes itself. The eyes, the one eye on the Shroud of Turin looks like a closed and swollen eye, like he'd been beat up. And if that eye was open, it would be in the same place. The other thing is, if you look at the original image, you'll notice that the eye itself has a shine in it, as if there is an actual glinting light in the eyeball, like maybe the flash picked it up or something. But this was an interesting animal. I like the word animal. I use that word animal a lot, meaning something unique, something different, And the more I look at this picture, the more I realize that we're never alone. We are never alone. For me personally, Jeshua is a representation of our source. Okay, I know full well that he reached out and he touched my heart. If you listen to my video that says the first lesson I learned 2,000 years ago, which I believe after the introduction is the first video on this channel, I talk about him reaching out and touching my heart. I've had lots of other pictures that have had things show up in them in my life. I have lots of pictures of me where lights are flashing around, and there's one series of pictures in Germany where I was actually on stage performing, and this big giant glowing ball is in this picture. And I thought, well, that's weird. One of those ceiling lights must have, shown up. And then over the next 4 or 5 pictures, that glowing ball moves around on the screen. I have a picture I took of a bus driver, and I'm going to show that at the end of this video too. It's harder to see, but I can see it really well. When you look at it closely, there's one part of this picture that I want you to notice. In that video that's called The First Lesson I Learned 2,000 Years Ago, I talk about Joshua reaching up and putting his hand on my heart and me having this experience. What you're going to see is a picture of a man that I knew in Germany. And if you look at this picture closely, he's standing here, but on his one side is what looks like the shape of a person with their hand up on his heart. But here's the thing I want you to look at. Where in the smoky area, where the head and the neck would be, are slightly flesh-toned, whereas everything else is misty white. And some people see on behind it what looks like wings, like angel wings. And some people see behind him a second entity, angel person, and they say there's wings on it as well. I can see what they're talking about. Maybe you can as well. But I wanted to share these pictures and show you that there is more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy. And I think that it's the living in that vibration that allows those things to happen. When you watch Kim do her orb videos, all the orbs showing up in the pictures, and amazing stuff, that's because she is in that vibration. She's in that space. She's opening up to source, and everybody has that ability to do that. Everyone has the power within them, and how you get to that space is living joyfully, living happily, living, free of the anxieties of everyday life, just letting it go and going through life looking for the positive. And then those things show up. Have a great day, guys, and I'll be interested to see the comments on this video. Have a great day. See you. Bye.